Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn promised a breakthrough is coming for the New York Jets. Is it? We'll talk about that and much more. Matt O'Leary joins us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. The 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go on a Thursday. I am in a much better mood to start the day than I was yesterday. Let's go Yankees. I will say that before we get underway. And now we say hello to our guy, Matt O'Leary, who joins us in his weekly spot. Matt, happy Thursday. Jets played Monday, so it's a short week for all of us as the Jets get set for the Cowboys on Sunday, baby, trying to find that first win of the season.
Absolutely. I get you twice in 1 week, a Monday appearance and a Thursday appearance on the Jake Asman Show. What's better than that?
We had hope on Monday when we were talking on the pregame show. We felt like they were going to win. I was dumb enough to actually think the Jets were going to win a football game. I mean, I should never think that, ever. We might never see a win.
The 3 turnovers and 13 penalties, like I'm still thinking about that. Usually by the time I get to Wednesday, but shorter week since they played on Monday, so I'll even push it a day. 3 days after a game, usually I'm like, all right, I'm ready to talk Cowboys, whatever, the next game coming up. I'm still thinking about the 3 turnovers and 13 penalties. Inexcusable.
Just brutal. Just brutal because I did a film review yesterday with Joe Blowett, and you just see how bad the defense remains. But despite that, if they just didn't fumble on 2 kickoffs, if they didn't go out there and fair catch a punt at the 2. If they didn't just beat themselves, like they would have more than one win right now. They wouldn't be winless. Like this is a recurring theme in all these games.
Yeah, they very easily could be 2-2 right now, which is incredibly frustrating. That's a big difference from 0-4. And, now you're going up against the team. You were just talking about the defense. The defense can't stop anybody. And all Dallas does is score points. So tough matchup on Sunday. I'll tell you that.
Yep, no doubt. We will talk about that game coming up. It's already Thursday, so we will start to preview the week ahead. I want to start, though, with some comments that Aaron Glenn made yesterday. So when Aaron Glenn was with the Lions, they got off to an 0-11 start in that first year. So Rich Cimini was the reporter who asked Aaron Glenn what that experience was like, because here are the Jets, hopefully not starting 0-11, but they are 0-4. And if Glenn loses Sunday, he's the first Jet coach to ever start their Jet head coaching career without a win through the first 5 games.
Aaron, you've referenced 2021 a couple of times about how you've been through, adverse circumstances. I'm wondering, what was it like being 0-8, and what was it about Dan in that time that helped them through it and stuff that you could lean on and apply to them?
Well, I would say that it's not fun being 0-8, and man, you get ridiculed, you get talked about. I mean, people are after you, in the worst way. When, as a coach, man, you just have to believe and understand the things how you want to build and the foundation that you're trying to set, that you cannot waver from those things, even when the outside noise is really on you. And he did an outstanding job of that. And the same with the whole staff, because we all felt it. And it was tough to go through, but man, you just make sure you lean on those things, those positives that you see within the games that you play, and you still try to make sure, man, it is a play style that you're trying to create within your team that we saw happening at that point. And we just knew at some point it was going to break through, and once it broke through, man, we were just rolling. And listen, I feel the same way about here. And I understand how the fans feel. I do. I'm hurting just like they are. I understand how you guys feel. I'm hurting just like you are. But I do know this. I believe in everything that we're doing. And I know that's going to be a breakthrough. And when it breaks through, this thing's going to pop exactly like we all want it to. So, and I actually had conversations with Tony Dungy, and he went 0-5. And listen, he felt the same way. And these things take time. But I believe in everything that we're doing. I believe in our coaching staff, and I believe in our players.
Okay, so Aaron Glenn talking the talk there. When are we going to see it, though, Matt? And let's be honest. There really hasn't been any evidence I could point to through these first 4 games that tells me it's just magically going to come against a team like Dallas, that despite their record being 1-2-1, it's a team that has been in the playoffs a lot over the last couple of years. They have a legit quarterback. They have a legit offense. They just put up 40 points in prime time against Green Bay. So the breakthrough that he's talking about, I hope it doesn't, it doesn't need to be 0-8 before we get the first win here. What do you make of those comments?
Yeah, it's tough because I totally understand where he's coming from, and I agree that it is going to take time and that they, have a lot to clean up. But at the same time, I think it's really the way that they're losing. They really should be like 2-2 right now, and they're not, which is extremely frustrating. But eventually you got to see it on the field. The talk is great. Like I like his press conferences. I like how he's handling himself as the Jets head coach. But, I don't think anyone would sign up for an 0-8 start. And it's different than Detroit. I think the Jets have more talent than the 2021 Detroit Lions had. So that wouldn't be acceptable to me, an 0-8 start.
I'm right there with you. Like, people bring up the Lions, and I understand why they're asking Glenn about that. But people, this Jets team is more talented than that Lions team. Like the Lions roster compared to the Jets roster right now, it's not even close. I've shown both on the show. So, and I even yesterday, Matt, I went back and looked at the 2021 Jets roster when Robert Saleh was in his first year with Zach Wilson at quarterback. That team had way less talent than this year's team. So the wins got to come. No one's saying you got to be a playoff team, but so many Jet fans were predicting 6-7 wins. And based on what we've seen right now, I don't know if they're getting to 7. If they get to 7, I'd sign for that in a second, because you would look at their record the rest of the way from this point on. They'd have a winning record from this point on if they finish 7-10. So it's just tough to truly believe. And I understand that Glenn's not responsible for the past, but this is where like the past of the Jets failures is coming through, because like we're not just going to blindly believe Aaron Glenn's the guy when there's no evidence to support it to this point. The only thing Aaron Glenn really has going for him, he's a former Jet. If he was some other first-time head coach, I don't know if there would be a lot of pushback from some of the fans trying to say, wait, he needs more time. And it's like, obviously he needs more time. We're not talking about firing him, but if you're not disappointed with how it's looked through the first 4 games, you're not being honest with yourself.
Yeah, no, and that's totally fair, because like I just said, they probably should be 2-2, but it's the mental mistakes. And they talked about cleaning up penalties, and they had 13 penalties and over 100 and I think it was 101 yards in accepted penalties. Like you're not going to be able to win any games that way, let alone be competitive. And that to me is the most frustrating thing. I thought they'd be a much more disciplined team. Again, I get it. Like he said, I understand it takes time. There's a lot of bad habits that they're trying to work through right now. But this just feels like a team that they find ways to lose games. And, it's frustrating, and it doesn't get any easier for a defense that is reeling to go up against the Cowboys, who they put up 40 points twice this season already.
If Aaron Glenn loses to the Cowboys, he's the first ever coach to be winless to start his Jet career. I hope they could somehow find a win, man. This fan base deserves a win badly. And I think what's so disappointing too, when we talked about this on Monday, like we could not excuse away the first 3 games, but we could say, to be fair to the Jets, the opponents they played were combined 9-3 going into that Dolphins game. Miami's not any good. They're awful. The Jets should have beat them by 2 scores if they didn't turn it over and give them that many extra possessions. And Braylon Allen, who was officially placed on injured reserve today, that fumble, I understand it was awful. It can happen. But then the defense allows a 15-play drive, 96 yards. And it's just like, man, this coach is a defensive coach. This defensive coordinator was his handpicked hire. Between the two of them, they have 7 years of coordinating experience. And you watch back the tape, it's not a talent issue why they stink in the secondary. They're just beating themselves with stupid mistakes, not communicating where to go, coverage breakdowns. It's just bad right now, man. It really is.
No, it is really bad. And, talking about the defense, I know you had Joe Blewett on yesterday, and I think he's a great follow on Twitter. And he was posting all the clips of the defense where the over pursuit on the play action rollout play that they ran with Tua seemingly all night. I just don't know how they kept falling for it. It was the same thing over and over and over again. And all the linebackers bite on it, and everyone's coming down. There's 8 guys in the box trying to tackle Devon Achane, who doesn't have the ball. And there's Jalen Waddle wide open down the field for a big gain.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Do you think Aaron Glenn's right? A breakthrough is coming. And I got news for you. The breakthrough for the Lions, if you look at it, they were 3-13-1 in year 1. And didn't they start 0-6 in year 2? Aaron Glenn won't survive if that happens. If he's 3-13-1 in his first year and the Jets next year start 0-6, I don't think he gets to 0-6. He'd be fired.
Yeah, that's probably the truth, honestly. I don't think they could, or I don't think he can afford that kind of start. That's what, 3-19-1 through his first 24 games. I don't think he's surviving that. And I think he realizes that too. Like, I don't think he's stupid. I think he knows that they got to win some games here. I've said a lot this year. It really depends more how they finish the year than the start. But it's disappointing when you play the way that you do against a opponent that isn't very good. Miami didn't look good in that game. The Jets really beat themselves. I get it against, the 3 teams that were playoff teams a year ago to start your season, but to play that way against an opponent like Miami is just, it's frustrating.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're playing for today on the show. Despite the Jets being awful, I intend to still be doing daily raffles on the program, try and make someone's day better. Today we'll give away, how about a throwback Garrett Wilson jersey? You can gift the membership for your chance to win. All you have to do is either that or send in a $10 super chat or higher. Shout out to Black Gypsy, who's the first to enter the raffle this morning. He gifted before the show even began. Thank you, Black Gypsy. You're in for 1. And then how about the great Mimosa checking in a 50 spot? She's in the raffle for 10. And she writes in, I'll be at the game Sunday. If I could show up, let's hope the Jets can too. JETS, Jets, LFG. Mimosa traveling up from Jacksonville, Florida to be in the building to root on the Jets. And they better bring home a win for Mimosa. Let's go.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
Mimosa, thank you for your support. As always, great to see you down in Tampa. This one's from Spencer Green, who says, Jake and Matt, be real. 11-6 is the final record this year. We beat the Cowboys badly this weekend. Well, we know they're not going 0-17, so there will be a win at some point, and there probably will be a win in a game we're not expecting. That does happen for most teams every year. I just don't feel like it's this one. I don't know. I could be dead wrong. You never know. It's football. The Browns beat the Packers a few weeks ago, but I personally, I'd be surprised if they won Sunday. I really would.
I love Spencer's optimism. I personally can't get there on the 11-6 record. I hope it's this week. I'm not going to pick the Jets to win, but 2019 first year with Adam Gase, they start 0-4 and have a surprise win over the Cowboys in week 5. So maybe a little repeat of history here with a big win in week 5 against the Cowboys at home. I'd sign up for it.
And it definitely worked after that game, right? The Jets definitely took that momentum, and they were an awesome team with Gase for years to come. For many years,
Yep, he was still the coach. They definitely didn't have an embarrassing Monday night performance the week after where the quarterback said he was seeing ghosts. Yeah, none of that happened.
John writes in, it's going to take 3 full off seasons to get the roster right. Going to take 3 full seasons to get the culture to the shift into a winning mentality. Stop crucifying guys 4 games in besides players that suck. Couple things with this, John. Aaron Glenn needs to show more before we get to his 3rd year. That's a fact. The Lions went on a massive run at the end of year 2, if you want to compare the Jets to the Lions. They narrowly missed the playoffs at the end of year 2. So let's stop with, it's going to take 3 full years to see any sort of results. That's not true. And the idea to say, stop crucifying guys, I don't think Matt and I are crucifying anyone. In fact, I'm an Aaron Glenn fan, and I hope that he's the Jet head coach for years to come. But I'm not going to sit here and blindly defend the guy just because he happened to play for the Jets. I'm going to evaluate him based on what he has said publicly, right? What he has promised to clean up, which has not happened. He also said that players are going to be held accountable, and we haven't seen that. Isaiah Williams is still on this team. They cut Xavier Gibson, who never should have made the team in the first place, the Tuesday after week 1. And Isaiah Williams, as of now, is still a Jet. And what really bothered me the most with the accountability stuff is that after he has the third quarter fumble on the kickoff, he's back out there on punt return and fair catches the ball at the 2-yard line. That's not accountability at all.
No, that might honestly be worse, the fair catch at the 2. That's embarrassing. They teach that, Pee-wee football levels. And, you're right. I don't think we're crucifying Aaron Glenn. I think he absolutely is going to get more than 1 year as the head coach. 3 full off seasons, though, that's not how the NFL is anymore. You have to show signs of growth. You have to, if they find out Justin Fields isn't their answer, then you're drafting a quarterback in the first round in 2026. And, they got to start trending in the right direction a lot sooner than 3 full off seasons of free agency and drafts.
Because let's also be real, too. When you look at some of the moves they made, some of the biggest issues they're having are personnel decisions that they elected to go with. Like, it's easy to say, the roster is not good enough. And sure, the roster is definitely not, a Super Bowl roster. No one's pretending it is. But they're the ones who gave Brandon Stevens $36 million. They're the ones who chose to keep Michael Clemens on this team to start the year with Xavier Gibson as your kick returner. Like, if Jet fans ran the team this offseason, we would have more than one win right now, for being objectively fair. Like, that's a fact.
Yeah, and there were a lot of mistakes that they made this past offseason. I think it was a mistake to come into the year with the wide receiver room that they have. The lack of edge depth became a problem instantly when Jermaine Johnson got hurt. And Brandon Stevens was a signing where we're all kind of scratching our heads, and he hasn't been very good. It's tough. I'm not out on Aaron Glenn after 4 games. I also don't think you have to say he deserves at least 3 years right now. That's also not fair. It's going to be an evaluation this year, and I'm just hoping they finish stronger than how they started this season.
Cactus Johnny says they built this offseason with intent of tanking. I think that is clear revisionist history. This was Aaron Glenn at the Combine when he was being asked questions about, hey, are you rebuilding after you jettisoned Aaron Rodgers?
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
I mean, come on. We went from that to big ships take a while to turn, something about Legos. They didn't go into the year with the intent of tanking. They talked about Justin Fields like he could be their guy long term. We all understood he was the best of the options with potential upside, so I have no issue with that signing. But we don't need to sit here and pretend like they plan to be god-awful this year. That was never what they want to do. They want to try and win games and allow these young players to learn how to win. That's what Glenn's talking about. He's not trying to tank.
Yeah, if anything, this is a retooling year, and no one came in with very few people were predicting winning seasons for the Jets this year. I had them at 7 wins. I think you had them at 6 wins? Something
I was
like
at
that?
6. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a difference between being a feisty 6-7 win team or just being an abysmal 2-15 team. I don't think they're going to be 2-15 this year. Still, I know that it's been a horrible first 4 games, but yeah, this isn't a fair comment. They weren't intending on tanking the season.
You could pretend like they are if that makes you feel better. If that helps you cope. But I'm sorry. I'm done giving this organization the benefit of the doubt. Win games. We're not asking for much. We're the Jets are one of 3 teams without a win right now. So win football games. Yeah,
and the funny thing is too, if they did go 7-10 this year after starting 0-4 and they go 7-6 in their final 13, I think Jet fans would be pretty pumped with how that season ended. And that's a 7-10 season is a pretty low bar to clear for Jet fans. So we're not asking for, a Super Bowl in year 1 here. We're just hoping for some signs of change and some proof that he is the guy going forward.
Right. We're basically asking you to be competent and not stink, right? Don't smell. All right. I don't want to be able to smell your stench, which maybe, Matt, the New York Jets need to use some Mando deodorant. Hey, how about that? Mando, let me talk about today's sponsor. They don't just sponsor my channel. They sponsor Matt O'Leary's channel as well. Folks, you don't want to smell like the Jets. You don't want to stink like the Jets defense. Got to use Mando, baby. Matt's got his bourbon whole body deodorant leather spray. I got the stick deodorant right here from Mando. It's very easy. You go to shopmando.com, use the promo code Asman, 72 hours, odor resistant, clinical strength, sweat control. One swipe, you're good to go. Deodorant re-engineered to stop odor before it starts. If the Jets had been wearing Mando, we might have a win. Maybe that will change Sunday. Point is, This is the best deodorant. Matt and I have been using it for already over a year. They've been sponsors with us. So support the sponsor. Go to shopmando.com, 20% off plus free shipping with that promo code. And Matt, what is your promo code as well for Mando?
Yeah, O'Leary at Shop Mando. I genuinely love it. The bourbon leather body wash or the body spray, those are my two favorites from Mando.
There you go. So check it out. Promo code Asman or O'Leary. Support the sponsor and don't stink like the New York Jets. Comments, questions, your super chats. They cut the line. This is a little bit of news here. So Chris Banjo is the Jets special teams coordinator. He is speaking with the media or just spoke with the media. This is from Rich Samiti's Twitter account on the screen there. Jets special teams coordinator Chris Banjo says, quote, they're still evaluating whether Isaiah Williams will be involved in kickoff return or punt return, just as they do every week with every player. Williams fumbled on a kickoff and made an ill-advised fair catch at the 2 on Monday Night Football. And the other thing on the kickoff, if he lets it go out of bounds, the Jets get the ball at the 40. It's just complete nonsense.
Yeah, it was bad enough that he tried to field the kickoff. He should have let it go out of bounds. Then he fumbles on it and then follows that up with a fair catch on the 2. To me, there's not much to evaluate. He can't be out there on Sunday against the Cowboys.
It's insane. If he's not inactive, then I never want to hear Aaron Glenn try and talk about holding guys accountable.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's nonsense, man. I'm like, I want Aaron Glenn to be the guy, but when you do things that are clearly hypocritical, I'm not going to sit here as a Jet fan and just blindly excuse it. Like, that's not happening.
No, and that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair on your part.
Kyle Gingercool says, in agony. I'm a Glenn believer. It's going to take more than a year to steer this bleep show. I think Glenn will make it happen. Need some Muji magic. The one thing I would say, Kyle, is Muji reports to Glenn, though. So they're not making any moves unless Aaron Glenn is signing off on it as far as any big moves. Like Woody Johnson referred to Darren Muji as Glenn's sidekick at the introductory press conference. Like, that kind of tells you all you need to know. Also, when Glenn was asked about the Breece Hall trade rumors, he said in a press conference, I called Breece and said, Breece, I'm not trading you. Like, he's coach and GM. He has full power.
Yeah, he does. It's more of a tandem duo at GM with Muji and Glenn. I know, Muji has the title, and I think Glenn has a lot to say on the personnel, but they're working in tandem then. They do need a big offseason, though, going into 2026, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to talk about that because they're starting 0-4 and potentially 0-5 very soon.
Oh, the pain never stops. And also, I'm sure you're not looking forward to this, but we know what's coming with probably another loss or maybe 0-6 on the horizon here. Get ready for mock draft Mondays by what? Columbus Day this year, Matt? I mean, this might be a new record for us as Jet fans here.
I've gotten some comments already. They're asking me to bring it out. I don't have it in me to do it right now, but if they're 0-6, how can you not start doing these mock draft Mondays or fixing the Jets Mondays?
It never ends, man. You can't do it. The other question, and look, I don't want to really spend a ton of time on this because people will be upset that we, God forbid, talk about hypotheticals. If they're as bad as where they are right now, picking in the top 2 in the draft, and this franchise is going to be looking to draft a quarterback in all likelihood, how would anyone have any faith in Glenn and Muji to pick the right guy in that spot?
Fair, very, very fair question. I'll try to play devil's advocate and say that they got it right with Armand Membu in the top 10 this past year.
And Mason Taylor. So they seemingly hit on their first 2 picks.
Yeah. So that's really I think the only positive spin that you can give it is that they had a good start to the draft. I'm really more concerned about their day 3 strategy. I don't think that really made a whole lot of sense, but yeah, I mean that if they're a 2-15 team, then I get it. Like, people are going to be questioning whether these guys are the right answers for the Jets going forward. So
yeah, I just hope we don't have to have that conversation. Oh, one and done, make him Gerard Mayo. It's like, no, just win games, and we don't even need to worry about that. And I do think they're going to win some games here. I don't know when, but I don't expect this team to be picking in the top 2 or 3 in the draft. I really don't.
No, I still wouldn't be surprised if they found their way to like 4 or 5 wins this year, that probably puts them at like the 6th pick, which that sounds about right. The Jets always pick 6. They never pick 1 in the draft. They're bad.
That's right.
Not bad enough.
Speaking of bad, so this stat that I'm about to put on the screen is from a Twitter account called @TheLastJets Super Bowl. What a name. It is the stats on fumbles so far this year. So far, Jets opponents have fumbled 6 times. The Jets have recovered 0 of them. The Jets themselves have fumbled 8 times, and they lost 6 of them. Like, statistically, the odds of this are maybe the same odds of the Jets actually having a winning season. Like, it's insane that this continues to be a thing. The Jets have not fallen on a fumble since Super Bowl III. It's insane.
Yeah, this is, I mean, nuts when you really think about it. They fumbled 8 times, so only 2 more times than their opponents, but they've lost 6 more, and it's 6-0. That's, you can't make that up. That's just one of those stats where you shrug your shoulders and go, I guess this is just how it's going to be this year.
It's just unreal.
Do they ever force a damn turnover?
They never do, Joe. They never, ever force a damn turnover. Hey, speaking of Super Bowl III, our top prize in the weekly raffle, for those who missed our daily, or for those who missed the weekly raffle on Tuesday, for next Tuesday, we already got 3 awesome prizes we'll raffle away. It's a signed Joe Namath helmet for our top prize, throwback looking Joe Willie helmet. It's a signed Wayne Corbett football and a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. Plus, end of the show today, if you want a chance to win a throwback. Once again, the same throwback with this jersey is odd, but it is technically a Jet throwback. If you want a chance to win a throwback Garrett Wilson jersey, that is up for grabs at the end of the show. If you gift a membership to qualify for the raffle or send in a $10 super chat or higher. Venom AD writes in, Fields is a terrible QB, still can't read defenses, especially where the blitz is coming from. OC clearly has no faith in the quarterback running on 3rd and 6. Matt, your take on this from Venom?
I think it's a little harsh. I thought it was a mixed bag from Justin Fields last week. I think at times they don't trust him, but when he's confident, he can make throws. So, look, I don't think he's amazing. I also don't think he's the absolute worst quarterback in the NFL. He's slightly below average, and his legs are a big reason why he's gotten this rope, right? He's in year 5 of his NFL career, and he's still starting games because, you know, he can make plays like he did on 4th down for the 41-yard rushing touchdown.
I don't think Fields is the guy long-term, but to defend him a little bit, he's played well enough for this team to at least be 2-1 in his 3 starts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was horrendous against the Bills. I thought he was great in week 1. I thought he was okay on Monday night.
Like, here's the thing, right? When people say, oh, what'd you expect? I didn't think Justin Fields was going to be good enough for this team to win enough games to finish with a winning record. It's why I had them at 6 wins after the AVT injury. I went from 7 to 6 just based on that. But I think the frustration for many of us, myself certainly included, is that the quarterback has been good enough to win these games, and the strength of the team, let's not rewrite history, Jet fans, was supposed to be this defense. 8 of its 11 starters back, defensive coach, Steve Wilkes, experienced coordinator. And we gave them the benefit of the doubt with signing a guy like Brandon Stevens, who, to be fair, had a really good camp and actually wasn't terrible on Monday. I didn't think, like, you know what I mean? Like if the Jets just had a mediocre defense, they might be 2-2 right now. And I think that's what's killing us as fans.
Yeah, and honestly, I was going to say, I don't think the offensive coordinator's done a bad job. I think Tanner Engstrand's actually, looked better than I thought he would to start the year. And I think there's some confidence with him as a play caller going forward.
I completely agree. Bo C checks in with a $10 super chat. He's in our raffle for 2. At 0-4, it's time to open up the bag of tricks and get off the conventional perpetual wheel. Try the talent you left in the stable. Take shots downfield. Take the leash off Fields. No man coverage. I would let Justin Fields throw a little bit more. I do agree with that. Earlier in games, like, take some more chances. You look at the lack of production they've gotten from any receiver besides Garrett. I mean, it's insane. Why is Arian Smith here if you're not going to try and throw a go ball to him every once in a while?
That's what I was going to say. We haven't really seen Arian Smith since week 2. You got to take a shot down the field earlier in the game. Even if it doesn't connect, it's something the defense will have to respect, and they'll back off a little bit, which should open up the run game, the bread and butter. I
don't get it. At least it was good to see Mason Taylor get involved. I think he's the guy that will, be a consistent target for Fields in this offense going forward. But they need more from some of these guys on the outside, or just play to your strength. Arian Smith's a speed guy. Give him a chance.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I'm with you on that. I think, Mason Taylor is going to end up being this team's, second leading receiver. They refuse to throw screen passes. I don't know why. I know that's not really a Mason Taylor thing, but that I think definitely impacts, what Breece Hall can do in the receiving game. That is a little bit frustrating. And then also, as we've been talking about here, Arian Smith, you drafted him because he had something that no other receiver on this Jets team had, which was, burner speed and, deep threat down the field. And they haven't used that through the first 4 games.
Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we just read a super chat from Bo. Now he's given a 10 spot of gifted memberships to our great Asmaniac community. Bo in the Asmaniac raffle for 10. Bo knows.
Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball. Bo knows tennis. Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows channel memberships.
Damn right he does. Diehard Jet fan Bo always supported the show. Thank you, Bo. You are the man. Danelle Holmes, Steve Davis III, Joshua Linez, Justin Robb, Boomer Bag Bozos, Jets, please force a goddamn turnover. I might have made that last name up. James Foss, Quo Boy Adventures, Kevin Huzladan, Alex Bolavoski, Yankees, please win for the love of God tonight. Giuseppe Road, all receiving a gifted membership there from Bo C. And how about this? B. Ramos checking in. We don't often see that name on the live show. He just gifted 5 channel memberships.
Money, 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 money.
Barbarossa, the GA to AG, Rick Herstian, Alvaro, and Evan M12, all receiving a gifted membership there from B. Ramos, who joins our Garrett Wilson jersey raffle at the end of the stream for 5 with that contribution. Open phone lines for those of you who want in on the conversation. We'll do some calls now with Matt O'Leary. As always, we're presented by FanDuel. And Matt, last I checked, the New York Jets on Sunday are just 2.5-point underdogs against the Cowboys. I don't know why. I figured the Cowboys would be a bigger favorite. I know they don't have a great defense, but neither do the Jets, and Dak and that offense is better than the Jets offense. So this line still being 2.5, a little fishy to me. What do you make of it?
It definitely is fishy. It feels like a trap. I'm still going to take the Cowboys minus 2.5 though. And look, I hope I'm wrong about it. I hope it really is too good to be true and the Jets steal one in this one. But, you've said it a lot on this show, and I feel the same way. They got to earn that trust first, and they haven't earned it yet from me as a Jet fan. So I will not be picking the Jets, even with the 2.5 points.
It reminds me of the Texans game I was at last year, where the Jets, weren't they a favorite in that one? And we were all so confused how they just lost to the Patriots. They were 2-6. Houston had a winning record, and the Jets were a favorite. And so many people were like, take the Texans. And the Jets played one of their better games all year and won.
I hope we're in for something very similar to that. They're also wearing the black jerseys for this game. So another connection to that Texans game from a year ago.
That's right. The one thing the Jets have figured out is having good looking jerseys. So we have at least covered that.
Yeah, that's a small win. At least it's not like 2020 when they were wearing those monstrosity jerseys and winning 2 games.
Bino checks in, says, I'm with you from day one. We needed an experienced head coach. McCarthy, regardless how you feel, this doesn't look bad. This doesn't look this bad under him. Look, that was my big thing from the beginning. If we go back on it, it was, if you're going to hire 2 newbies to this job, you're taking another huge risk. And not that there's not a risk with anyone you hire, but my big thing was never being anti-Glenn. It was just, I didn't want another first-time coach, especially first-time coach with a defensive background. To be fair, I think Engstrand's done a decent job so far as the offensive coordinator, so that's good. But I just think we're now kind of, Aaron Glenn's kind of like in it right now, right? And how he navigates this is going to define him, because we don't know if he's a good head coach or not. Like, we hope he is, but right now he's 0-4, and if he loses Sunday, he's the first Jet coach to ever start their coaching career 0-5 with this team. So I think experience would have mattered, and if not a head coach, certainly a general manager. It feels like Muji has made a lot of mistakes that we look back on now.
Yeah, and that's true. Although they do have Rick Spielman as an advisor, which I think his veteran experience in the front office is, can be looked at as a positive. I'm not a big Mike McCarthy guy. I haven't been for a long time, so that's not really a coach that I was all that interested in. I did like Vrabel as an option. I know that was the favorite of a lot of people. He ends up in New England. I like Brian Flores as a head coach with experience. I get it. Everyone sees, first time defensive coordinator as a head coach. It feels redundant to what the Jets have done, but I don't think the Jets hired Aaron Glenn because he was some defensive mastermind. I think they hired him because they wanted a CEO style of head coach and someone who could come in and, be a leader. It hasn't worked out yet. They're 0-4, but I say give it a little bit more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want a positive bunch of Jet news here I could provide for you, Matt?
Yeah, let's do it.
How about Armand Membu? This is from Michael Nania. Every stat agrees Armand Membu is a monster. Ranks among right tackles. He's third on PFF in overall right tackles. He's 79.0 in run blocking. That's a fourth rating overall. He's 11th in pass blocking. He's fourth in pass block win rate. He's second in run block win rate. 0 flags on 242 snaps. Fourth most snaps without a penalty. So at least Membu is playing really well. Olu had a good game the other night. Like, they have 2 legitimate tackles, which is a very good thing, because if this season goes where it's headed and they're taking a quarterback, you're at least putting that quarterback in a spot where they have a solid foundation up front protecting them.
Yeah, I think the offensive line has played well this year. I know in week 2 and week 3, there was a lot of pressure, but I think, I really put that on the quarterbacks for how long they were holding on to the ball. I think an offensive line can only hold up for so long, and especially when teams blitz the way that they did, like Buffalo and Tampa Bay. But Armand Membu has been incredible to start his career. I think that is a major win for the Jets, and Olu bouncing back and having a strong performance is also a really good sign. I'm very confident in the Jets tackle duo.
Very, very encouraging sign. There's no doubt. And look, I think Tippmann's played well at guard. I think Myers has been nice at center. He hasn't been a problem. Simpson's been fine. Like, the O-line, it's easy to blame the offense. Like, it's really been turnovers, penalties, and the defense just sucking. Why this team has been winless. That's it.
Yeah, honestly, the self-inflicted wounds and the defensive struggles, I think, are the biggest reason. You nailed it.
This one is from Bo, who says, Jacob, by chance, if I win the jersey today, I would love it to go to the great Matt O'Leary.
Whoa.
ETS, Jets. Well, Matt, I'll tell you what, Bo gifted a 10 spot, and he sent in a $10 super chat. So 12 raffle tickets are in the good name of Matt O'Leary right now.
I like this. I like my odds. Bo, thank you. That's very generous. I really appreciate it. I would love a throwback jersey.
Let's go, Bo. Very nice of you. All right, let's take some calls, shall we? Doug on the bed is first today. Hello, Douglas.
How you guys doing? First of all, to all my fellow Jewish Asmaniacs, hope you're having a nice and easy fast today.
Happy Yom Kippur.
You wouldn't say that.
Although it's not really happy, because you starve yourself all day and you atone for your sins.
That's why I said I hope you have a nice and easy fast. Couple of things. One of the biggest things I think getting something in the rug is the Kenny Ngannou injury has been huge. Because if he doesn't get hurt, Xavier Gibson's not returning the kickoffs in game 1. Jets probably win that game, because you imagine he doesn't fumble the ball on a kickoff, and you probably win that game. And then last on game 4 against the Dolphins, you don't have Isaiah Williams back there. So you could argue if Ngannou doesn't get hurt, Jets are 2-2 right now. So that's one of the biggest things I think not getting talked about, but like I understand it. And I agree with you guys about the penalties for the most part, but like 2 things can be true from the game the other night. The refs were horrendous, and we still are having too many stupid penalties. Like the procedural stuff, all that stuff needs to get away. But the ticky-tacky stuff, the refs never giving the Jets any benefit of the doubt, is getting effing ridiculous. Like, one of my best friends is a Dolphins fan. And he was telling me the game, like, the refs have been calling some of the stuff. I was like, what game are you watching that the refs have not been favorable to the Dolphins at all?
The announcers even talked about it. Like,
it's ridiculous. Again, like the ticky-tacky penalties, like those are the ones that are like, come on, like we're already killing ourselves anyway. Let's not help us kill ourselves more. Like, come on, refs. But the procedural penalties, those stuff, those are the stuff that need to be fixed. Like the John Simpson one the other day, I don't think it was a penalty, but like that's not one you're going to get mad at. Like that's just a guy protecting his quarterback. Like, and like these just these ticky-tacky stuff. It annoys me. And the NFL and the officiating, how there's just no, like, they're not at all to blame. Like, they get away with whatever they want. There's no consistency, and the officiating, and it's bullshit. Sorry for the language, but it's bullshit. Like, the NFL officiating gets held to no standards. And again, I'm not saying there aren't true penalties. Like, the Jets are doing stupid things, but there was multiple times where the Dolphins got calls, or like the play that should have been offset penalties where there was clearly a hold by Josh Myers, but Joe Tippmann was getting his hand smashed right in his face like that. It just frustrating when the team already sucks. We're already making stupid decisions ourselves. We don't need the refs to add on top of that.
I agree, Doug. At the same time, the Jets put themselves in these spots where they're known as an undisciplined team. So the refs are like looking for it, like the Jets put themselves in these spots where because they haven't won, because they led the NFL in penalties the last 2 seasons, teams are looking or know that. So there's that narrative that they have to change, that stigma they have to change. I'm not trying to excuse the refs. They're terrible. That OPI call on Garrett Wilson was a joke, but there were a lot of missed calls the other night. But like part of the issue the Jets have is that one, they need the refs to basically win because if they get screwed, they can't overcome it. And 2, they have that perception of being a team that is heavily penalized.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. They've been that way for multiple years. This isn't a new thing. The Garrett Wilson OPI, I think, was the one that frustrated me the most because that's something that happens every week that they never call. Devontae Adams just did that 2 weeks ago. AJ Brown has done it. George Pickens, who you're going up against this week, has done that successfully. That one really bothered me the most, especially because it took points off the board too. And Garrett Wilson's awesome. He deserved 2 touchdowns in that game. But you're right, like to bring up that this team's, a penalty machine year over year. The refs are going to go into it looking to make calls. It sucks that it's the way that it is, but until that changes, it's going to be that way every week.
That's just how it goes. All right, that's it. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Bang Mateo with a thrilling back-to-back. First, he says, Detroit, we don't have golf on this roster enough. I mean, fair, but I'm not saying the Jets are the Lions. I'm saying that the Jets had more talent than that Lions team, and I expect them to win more games. I think eventually they will draft a quarterback, and there's multiple ways to try and rebuild your football team.
Yeah, 100%. I said it too. I think they're more talented than the 2021 Lions, and they're in a much different spot. The only reason this gets brought up is because this is where the coaching staff came from. Both the offensive coordinator and the head coach were a part of that 2021 and 22 Lions team. So that's why the comparisons are coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, the follow-up from Bang. We only needed 1 offensive tackle in the first round, Olu or Membu. We should have drafted a weapon. Bang. Stop it. This team definitely needed Olu Fashanu when they took him. Let's remember where the Jets were at that point. They had a Hall of Fame quarterback coming back from injury in an all-in year, and the line was a huge problem in 2023. They needed to draft a true left tackle. They got a true left tackle. Olu is only going to get better. He's had moments this year where he's looked really good. Remember, he came into the year with 7 career starts. It takes time for tackles, and he's been pretty good. And Membu's been great, which is unusual for a tackle of that to play that well right away. It typically takes time. So we'll see what ends up happening. Weapon-wise, they do need to add weapons to this team. Mason Taylor looks pretty good, though. So as far as the strategy of, do you take the weapon at 7 and then try and get a tackle on the Jets, I'm going to give them credit for their first and second round picks so far this year. Membu's been awesome, and Mason Taylor, I think, is starting to come into his own.
Yeah, and if they did go the other route and the offensive line stunk, then everyone would be crying that how could we not, you can't evaluate Justin Fields and you're going to put your rookie quarterback next year into a really bad spot. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's not saying that they don't need weapons. They absolutely do. They need a couple of receivers. They could use more, at tight end also. But I mean, how could we be complaining about Olu and Membu?
Before we get to our next caller, a quick update from Beastbreaker. He writes in that he scored a gold mine on beef.
Oh, okay. Love to hear about that.
Beast, we're happy for you and your family. All right, more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, predict where this man is calling in from. Kyle, we can't hear you from inside Gary's house. Can't hear you. Nothing. You're a mute, like Shador Sanders yesterday, talking to reporters.
Come on, Kyle.
Kyle? Try again, Kyle. We'll come back to you. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. DD says, too chilly to be outside. Today's like one of the first real fall days we've had, Matt O'Leary.
I love it. I think this is my favorite kind of weather, man. You go outside, a little sweatshirt action. It's very comfortable for me. I'm in.
They're calling that the best Gary call ever. All right. More of your calls. Wanathan is on the line. Hello, Wanathan.
Hey Jake, how you guys doing?
What's up, man?
Not much. First time caller here. I'm actually really excited to be on the show.
No way. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from my job actually. I'm working right now.
Are you from Ecuador though?
So nationality wise, I'm from Ecuador, but I'm here in New York.
I thought you were calling from there. I was like, no way.
No, yeah, no, but I'm here from Elmsford. No, but yeah, I mean, disappointing time for Jets fans. Honestly, like I can't even remember like the last time, like 2015, where the Jets had a really good season. But honestly, like my big thing is, a lot of people are saying like take a quarterback in like the first round if we're even up in that position. But to me, Jake, honestly, I don't think Justin Fields has been playing bad at all. To be honest, his passing's been pretty good. What he can do with his legs is pretty good as well. So my big thing would be for you guys is, do you think we should take a quarterback or maybe even drafting another weapon to help Garrett Wilson on the other side would be a good option for the Jets as well?
Well, I think it really depends on where they're picking and like how the rest of the year plays out to truly answer that. Like if you ask me right now, you say, Jake, they're in the top 3, I'd say they're probably going to go quarterback because that's just what you do. When you're that bad, you might not get another opportunity to be in range to get a guy you deem as a long-term answer at that position. But look, if they win some games and Fields is competent, then, it opens things up to, potentially doing what you said, take a weapon or doing what the Giants even did, right? Where they took a premium player and then traded back into the first round to get their guy. So there's so many different scenarios. Just it's too tough this early to kind of say they definitely are going to do this because I think there's just a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, I'm with Jake on that one too. I think, at this point we don't have enough information to make a decision yet. It depends how the next 13 games go. But if he plays really well, I think that's a good problem to have because then you could obviously pivot and draft a weapon or draft someone to help you out on this defense. But it also is going to be contingent on where they're picking. If they're, top 3, top 5, they're probably going quarterback. If they do win 7 of their last 13 or whatever, and they're picking 9th or 10th, maybe they're taking skill position at that point. So we'll see for right now.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I was a Justin Fields believer, especially, when he was coming out of Ohio State. I really wanted him, but instead we drafted, that bum Zach Wilson. So, but yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on the show. It's really great. I've been watching you for a while now.
Wow, what took so long, Jonathan? Welcome aboard, man. We got you in the raffle for 2, by the way, so good luck.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Jonathan, great call. Call back anytime, man. Excellent call. Appreciate it. Love the jersey as well. I'm sure it's a messy jersey. I don't even have to ask if you see someone wearing like an FC Miami MLS jersey there.
It'd be shocking if it was anyone else.
More of your calls right now. We just tried to get this guy on. We couldn't hear him. We saw him, but couldn't hear him. But we'll try again, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Clifton, live from Gary's home. Hello, Kyle.
How are you, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay, we got him.
I took those AirPods out. Sometimes they're hit or miss. I didn't realize it was Yom Kippur. I guess it makes sense why these kids are home now. It's still here. I don't know how you can criticize taking Membu in that spot last year. Like, every draft is different, and you have to mind the value that's there, right? Like I would have liked the weapon too at the time. I'm glad to admit that I was wrong.
Yeah, me too. Membu's because Membu's been great. And if you hit on a pick at a premium position, it's tough to argue they should have done something else.
Right. I mean, the only thing I think maybe that they could have done in the first 2 days is maybe see if you can go back and get more picks a little bit. But you can't, like, if you really feel strongly about a player, you can't mess around. And what we've gotten from Membu so far, quite frankly, that's Pro Bowl level play. Like, if you're talking about he's the at least the 4th best, right tackle in the NFL or better, based on the penalties he hasn't been getting. You're talking about a guy who in his rookie year is already a Pro Bowler. So there's that. I think you guys are a little bit too optimistic on where we're going to be picking. if you really think we're not going to win this week, and I think that you guys voiced a little bit of pessimism about that, all these teams, the Saints, the Titans, whatever, they're going to end up winning a few games by accident. Ward's going to come into his own. I actually think that the coach of the Saints is too good an offensive mind for them to go winless. But what's going to happen with us is Fields is going to, his skill set's going to shine out in a couple of games, and some teams are going to come out flat, and we're going to get a few. But if we're 0-5 and we've got 12 games to go, what are we going to win? We're not going to win. I don't think we're going to win an additional 5 games at that point, right? Like, we're probably going to end up being 4-13 and probably picking 3rd or 4th in the draft. That's kind of where I see where we're going to fall.
Well, it depends on how many other 4-win teams there are, though, because there's been some years 4 get you in the top 3. Other years 4 could get you like 7 or 8. Like, it really depends.
I think it's gonna, but I think it will this year. I mean, we are one of only 3 0-4 teams at this point.
Yeah, but remember, the Adam Gase Jets started 0-4 and they finished 7-9. The first year of Gase.
Well, Aaron Glenn is no Adam Gase.
we hope not.
Oh boy.
Hopefully he's not worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a very tough matchup this week because we can't stop anybody. That's the one thing. There will be some wins on the horizon, but we're doing a lot of. We have 2 games against New England. We're traveling to Jacksonville. I think we still have to go to Buffalo. Like there are some tough games there on the back end of the schedule. So, looking to see some improvement. And certainly we'll need to get a weapon somewhere on day 2 next year. But I don't think we can at all be critical of them. That's all I needed to say. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the great Kyle Clifton. I do think they could win some games though. Like they look awful right now, but we also have to remember if there is that scenario, they do clean up the turnovers and penalties. There is a path to winning some games. They're not going to be able to beat the great teams on their schedule, but 3 of their 4 games have been winnable so far.
Yeah, they've been in 3 of their 4 games. We've said a million times on the show, they probably should be 2-2 right now. So it's not crazy to think that, they get some of this stuff figured out and end up winning some games. I don't think this is a 2 or 3 win team. I think they're going to find their way to 4-5, somewhere in that range.
Win enough games to not have that top 3 pick.
Usually. Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's just what I'm banking on history. More calls before we wrap up with Matt. Reminder for those of you tuning in late, we do have a great raffle prize today. It's a throwback Garrett Wilson jersey. And if you don't win, you automatically are qualified for a Sauce signed jersey, Crevette signed football, and the granddaddy of them all, a signed Broadway Joe Namath helmet. Let's say hello to Jared, who's up next on the show today. Hello, Jared.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Jared?
So, the first time calling, I've been listening to for a while here.
Hey, we got 2 first-time callers today. What are the odds? Love it. Congrats, Jared.
Well, something I want to say is I don't think we have a lot of leadership. And I'm not talking about the coaches. I'm talking about leadership on the field. Like, when you look at all these pre-snap penalties we had last week, you got, Alan Lazard with a false start. You got the guys doing this stuff. Where's Justin Fields on this one? I like him as a quarterback. I like his athleticism. I like what he's doing, but he's got to be more of a leader, kind of get his guys, guys, what are we doing here? You get back on the sideline. Where's he yelling at his guys? I see him sitting off by himself. He's not really, into the whole thing. On the defensive side, who's leading that? One of the plays, can't remember which one it is. I think it was actually the touchdown to Waddle there was, or whatever the guy's name is, a tight end from Miami, was that Sauce Gardner got run into by his own guy because they weren't paying attention to each other. They're kind of running around all chickens without their heads. Nobody's putting anybody anywhere.
It's a valid criticism of the leadership when you look this bad. And a lot of these guys have just been through nothing but losing. So it's like, how do you change that? I think some of the communication issues, like I don't know how much of it is player related or is the scheme just that bad? Like, how do you get beat on the amount of crossers they get beat on in the same game? And it feels like a theme with the defense is once the team they're playing finds a play that works, they do it again, and the Jets never can figure it out.
You're right. Yeah, there's no, leadership starts at the top with Aaron Glenn, but he's not out there on the field. On the field, there's 11 guys. One of them has got to at least take charge on something. You got You look back, you see Tom Brady yelling at his guys on the sidelines, or you know Travis Kelce's getting fired up for the Chiefs. We got nothing on the leadership, and we got nothing to rally around. None of these guys, they're all playing like, you know, they don't care anymore. There's no team. There's 11 guys out there all playing for themselves. Nobody's kind of getting together and doing anything with themselves. They're all just down about it. They had a great drive that first drive. They went right down the field, about to score. Braylon, you know, he fumbles the ball. It is what it is. Everybody just loses their head. Oh, woe is me, and we're done here.
It's tough to dispute any of that, Jared, because it feels like anytime this team deals with any sort of adversity, they turtle. And it's like if they had scored that Braylon Allen touchdown, I actually think they win the game that night, because I think Miami would have folded having to deal with the physicality the Jets were going to bring the rest of the way. But every game, it feels like, when they're, other than week one, which to me feels like the outlier at this point, you blink, they're down 10-0 in all these games.
And they can't come back from it. Week one, what they do on their first drive? Went right down, scored.
Yep.
We were rolling. Had a problem here. We overcame it. We're good. And then we're right there at the end. We lose on the last second field goal. And I know it's a moral victory. We don't do moral victories here, but moral victory at some point has got to be what you need.
You got to just find a way to, you know, get off to a start, or just like someone needs to just make a play, man. Like I go back to the fumble by Braylon Allen, right? That doesn't excuse the defense to allow a 15-play drive for 90. You're down 3-0. The fumble happens. Okay. Get off the field, man. Force them to punt. Get the ball right back to your offense. You're only down 3. You're fine. Or the bare minimum, hold the Dolphins to 3 points. Do not give up a touchdown. But the problem is, on 55% of the Jets' defensive drives this year, they've allowed the other team to score either a field goal or a touchdown, which is like the third worst in the NFL. Like, it's been terrible.
And what are you going to do with that? As an offense, you go back on the field and it's like, I have to score. I have to do this. And your mind's just not right. Everybody's trying so hard that they're making mistakes. They're so afraid of making a mistake because they don't want to be that one mistake, that now they're just making all the mistakes.
Right.
It's a mental game that we are just losing every single week. We can't get past it.
It's a fair point. Jared, where are you calling us from, by the way?
North Carolina.
Love it, man. Well, how you said you've been watching the show a couple of years?
Yes.
That's awesome. And do me a favor. Send me an email with your address, your T-shirt size. I want to send you some merch for calling in and be a first-time caller.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much, sir.
You got it, my friend. Appreciate you. And also to our friend who called earlier, who's a first-time caller, Jonathan. Same thing for you, Jonathan. If you're still watching, show me an email. We'll get you some merch sent your way. A couple super chats here, then we'll do one more epic call with you, Matt. This one is from Joe M., who says, it's awesome to see the show live, even though I'm jumping in late. What's the next step for this defense? Will there be a coaching change? Joe, thank you. You're in the raffle for 2. Matt, give us your take on what's next for this defense, and are any coaching changes happening?
Well, I think the first thing you're going to see is some personnel changes. I think Jarvis Brownlee will get his first start at slot corner this week. We'll see what that does. But if they continue to struggle the way that they do, I think we see Aaron Glenn take over the play calling at some point. I know that he said even today that he has faith in the coaching staff and the whole thing. And I get it. He has to say those things publicly, but they can't continue to ride this out defensively week after week with Steve Wilkes and how the defense looks.
You got to change personnel before you fire the coach. And hopefully some of the personnel they're changing is because guys are healthy. Like, I think Jermaine being back, he's kind of that leader that we were just talking about. Yeah. Like, Jermaine is that guy. He's got to stay on the field, though, man. They need him to come back healthy and make some plays.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I'm excited to see him back out there on the field. I think they missed him desperately. Michael Clemens played over 70% of snaps last week, and, well, it didn't go great.
The pain. Ugh. Robin says, Dallas gains the first game. I do not feel a win coming. Put me in the raffle. Today's my B-day. If I can't win today, I never will. Let's go. Robin Boy Wonders. Hey, I believe in you, Robin. You're going to win. And if you don't win today, you're a winner in life. You're a Jet fan. And the Jets always come through for you. Let's see. This one is from Jets Carpetbagger, who says 100% agree. No leadership on the field. Missing CJ Mosley. Yeah, I mean, it's a problem because I think Sherwood was comfortable stepping in last year because it was the same scheme he's been playing in. Yep. But now learning a new scheme, having to be a leader after you got the big contract, I think it's been an adjustment for him. And I also just think they've just been very poorly coached on that side of the ball too.
Yeah, I mean, I said it a lot last year, and I still believe it. I think they do miss CJ Mosley, and more so for his football IQ and just being out there and lining up the guys in the right spot. I know, he lost a step maybe last year, and clearly injuries are a big reason why he's not in the NFL anymore. They don't really have that guy on this defense right now, and it's showing.
They definitely do not. Dan checks in, and he's in the raffle for 2. Dan Philcox says Gibson may have been trash, but Isaiah Williams is somehow worse. Only the Jets can bring in a guy that makes you miss the guy they cut. Go Yanks tonight. Go Jets. Get me in the raffle, Jake. Go Yanks. Absolutely. Like, I have such PTSD from like watching like the Jets just like blow games that they should win. Like, I was just like waiting for the other like shoe to drop last night for the Yanks. Thank God they won. And it'll be a torture chamber tonight watching do or die game 3, which is basically a game 7. But nice to win one, Dan. So I'm with you. Go Yanks. And yes, 100%. Isaiah Williams somehow being worse than Xavier Gibson is exactly why I have a lot of doubts about this GM and coach, because Glenn personally vouched for this guy too, by the way. He was with him in Detroit. And for it to still be this bad, for this guy to fumble and then be allowed to go back out there to do this at the 2-yard line, it's just, you can't make it up.
I would be upset if I walked up the block and saw that at my high school football game on Friday night. That's embarrassing that happened in the NFL. A fair catch on the 2-yard line, just let it go. You get it on the 20.
They literally tell you if it's already past the 10, just let it go. That's it.
Yep.
That's literally the coaching point. Like, how he didn't know that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Dumb.
Jackson writes in, when do we see Moore start over Tony Adams? He's horrible. I hope this week.
Yeah, immediately is the hope. I can't continue to watch the poor efforts that Tony Adams gives trying to bring down a ball carrier with his tackles. Malachi Moore, at least he may have issues in coverage. I'm willing to put up with that because he will give you an effort as a tackler.
I'd rather lose with a guy who we don't truly know what he is yet, who's getting reps, than a guy who we already know what he is. And by the way, they chose to bring Tony Adams back. Like, they didn't have to do that. They could have got somebody else.
Yeah.
Brought him back. They chose to bring back Michael Clements. They chose to keep Xavier Gibson. These are personnel moves that Glenn and Muji signed off on. And that is, I think, a lot of our frustrations. Bo in the house says, Matt O'Leary booster chat, LFG. Bo going all in.
Let's go, Bo. My guy.
He's trying to get Matt that Garrett Wilson throwback jersey. Matt, what size jersey are you, man? You're the tallest content creator to ever do it in the Jet universe.
Yeah, I would say 2X for a jersey.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, one final call with Matt, and then I will get to the remaining ones. I'm supposed to see this guy in between shows today. Craig in Midtown is on the line. Hello, Craig.
Gentlemen, three redheads in the one place.
Love
Can't
it.
lose, right?
Let's go.
How are we?
Let's go.
I had to call in, Matt, to talk to you just to give you a proof of life that I'm okay after the time Nate knocked me over on his bike.
Yes.
When you're on the show, so I want to let you know I've recovered.
Thank
I'm
God.
okay. He tried it again today. I've seen Nate probably 36 times in the last 5 days or thereabouts. So he tried again today, but I'm getting better at it, at avoiding the crazy bikers. Are you going to be at the game, Matt, on Sunday?
No, I will not be at the game on Sunday, but I'm assuming if you're here, you're going to be going.
This is why we're here. I'm here. I'm here for the agony. Mate, well, hasn't I wouldn't say so far so good. We brought a couple of W's to the Yankees.
You have. I'll gladly take a Yankee W tonight over a Jet win Sunday because I can't stomach losing to Boston again.
Well, I was going to give my Jets take, and it's as simple as this: go Yankees. That's all I've got.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Craig in Midtown, Australia's finest, back home.
That's it. I'll text you shortly for lunch venue. It's all sorted.
I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig in Midtown, a.k.a. our guy
See you
Craig
guys.
down under in the U.S. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to Times Square, where standing by is a good friend of the show, Nate, Nate. Hello, Nate.
Guys, how we doing?
Nate, how are you?
Just got on. I kind of missed the beginning of it. How we doing? Yo, buddy, watch it.
Whoa.
Oh, he took one.
Oh my goodness.
You all right? Watch where you're fucking going, mate.
Man. Wait, hang on. I know you.
We're here in Times Square with Craig live. Don't worry, Matt. I know you took the bait. I know you thought I took him out again. Don't worry. It was a different guy. Mrs. Craig has her heart in her throat right now. Someone did try to help. Someone leaned over to try to help Craig and thought I really took this man out because I did come on the pedestrian walkway. I apologize, all pedestrians. We're on our way over to the Mets game.
What a moment.
It still makes me laugh even watching it for a second time. That initial reaction was just so good.
One of the all-time moments in this show's history. Matt, you're the man. Always appreciate you joining us. You joined us twice this week. Hopefully, the next time you and I do one of these streams, the Jets have a damn win.
I hope so. Go Bo C in the raffle, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Matt O'Leary in the raffle for a bunch of entries, courtesy of Bo C, because Bo knows. All right. Last chance to get in here, right? If you want to call into the show, the link is pinned. We are giving away, as you heard me just mention there to Matt, a Garrett Wilson throwback jersey. So gift away for that. I'll send it to you in the size of your choosing. If you win, comments, questions, super chats, those always cut the line. Let's say hello for the first time today to a man who is on the road. It's time to unleash the beast.
Beautiful morning. Supposed to work, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Got the call to 1 hour. That's fine. Fine. Just enjoying the view. What does that smell? What does that smell? That's not a fart. No, I didn't barely. I really barely had a piece of chicken. We're gonna win Sunday. Don't worry about it. We'll just be fine. I'm supposed to, right now I'm getting out of the suburbs. I'm about to head back to take care of some stuff. Important views. Come Sunday, I expect blood. I expect no mercy, and I expect a head being ripped right off of Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys will have a nice hanging because we're going to go old school like Tannen did. Like I gas right now.
Thank you for whatever that was, Beast. All right, there's a guy named Nija on the channel, but I can't see Nija's camera. So Nija, I'm coming to you next. As soon as you put it on, he has put it on. Hello, Nija.
Man, how you doing this morning?
I say your name right? I don't want to make sure. Nija.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller as well.
Wow, 3 in the same show, man. Good luck. You're in the raffle for 2. Where are you calling us from?
South Florida, man. I went to the game Monday night. Very fucking disappointed. Excuse me. Sorry, my language, but I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed, man. It was my first ever NFL game as well. My first ever Jets game. My girl bought the tickets for me, and not even a fire on the bench. Not even a fire from the bench was lit, man. And I'm just a little hurt. My problem with the team now isn't that it's, Aaron Glenn. It's just that he's scared to make moves, or I feel like he's scared to bite the bullet, scared to rub the team the wrong way, because when you lose the locker room real early, like how Salah did and everybody else, the players stop believing in you, etc. And I feel like that's what's about to happen if something doesn't change. I really, really, really wanted Rex Ryan to be our coach again if it was going to look like this. If we were going to be 0-4, I'd rather had Rex Ryan as a coach.
Well, I don't think they'd be 0-4 with Rex, to be fair, because I think the defense would be a lot better.
A lot better. I believe that Rex would have had his team at least playing inspired. He actually sounded like he wanted a job, and he actually knew what to do with this team. I really feel bad for Quinnen, man. Quinnen's been the heart and soul of this defense for so long, and we just really look terrible, man. It's really pissing me off. How are you right? I was right there watching Tufale 78 when he jumped off sides. I'm literally standing right there looking at the ball. The same ball he's looking at, I can see it. And he jumps off sides. It's just really bad coach, man. And hopefully Aaron Glenn gets it together, or if we keep losing, man, hopefully we find a better coach. But other than that, that's all I have to say. Go Jets from South Florida, man.
Hey, great first time call, man. Appreciate you. Sorry you had to watch that debacle in person for your first game. Look, Glenn's going to be the coach. They're not, unless they go 2-15, he's not going to be one and done. Right? They got to clean up the mistakes. I do agree. It feels like they're missing that fire, that leadership. Like this team's too used to losing, and that's the problem with getting off to a brutal start. Right? That's why when you guys were not you guys when some in the fan base were talking about how the positives of week 1, and I'm like, yeah, but you lost, and now you're going to be 0-2 because you're playing the Bills. And they didn't even show up for that game. Right? Then it starts to snowball. This was my fear. Right? I think if they had won week 1, they probably would have some confidence in being like, okay, we lost to the Bills. They're the best team in the league, maybe. We lost to the Bucks. They're really good. We can beat the Dolphins. We're confident. I think they have no confidence right now because they were 0-3 going into that game. And then once the Braylon Allen fumble happened, it's like, ah, shit, here we go again. Right? Like, that's why I think that week 1 loss was so hurtful because they get a lot of good. They just didn't win. And then it's like, it's starting to snowball. Here we go. Like Quinnen Williams referenced, like, if you don't win a game quick after 0-3, this could be 0-10 real quick. And now it's 0-4. Like Quinnen's, he knows. He was on that 2020 team. He knows how crazy this could be. That's why week 1 was so important to win, I think, in hindsight, because it would have gave this team some reassurance that you can win. Aaron Glenn is the right guy. And maybe he still will be the right guy. He can obviously turn it around. It's been 4 games, but I think it's harder now when you get off to this kind of start. You want your message, if you're the coaching staff, if you're Aaron Glenn, you want your coaching staff, that message to be validated with success on the field, not moral victories. They asked Tanner Engstrand this morning, what do you say to your offense that's, discouraged with the fact you guys haven't won? He's like, put it on the tape. We're doing a lot of good. We're just beating ourselves. And like, yeah, that's true. But the best thing to do to have people not be discouraged is to win damn games. Like Bill Parcells' first game after taking over a team that was the worst team in the league when he got there in 97, right? Coming off Kotite. Jets' first game, you know what they did? They went on the road to Seattle as an underdog. I think they won like 41-7 or 37. They killed the Seahawks as an underdog. And I know Rich Samini's told this story on his podcast and on this show and my radio show with Rich. He's like, those players thought Parcells was like, could walk on water after that. Like they had this grueling training camp. Parcells comes in, he's changing everything. And immediately it was validated with a statement. And that statement could have been made week 1 if he beat Aaron Rodgers. And he didn't. And I think from there, it's like, then you lose week 2 because you're playing the Bills. Okay. Can you still win week 3? No, you're going to get down 23-6. And then Monday night against a team in your weight class, you have a chance to go down the field and hit them in the mouth, and they'll fold. They were going to fold if Braylon Allen scored a touchdown. You don't do it. And then the defense is so soft that they allow a 15-play drive right after that. 15 plays. 96 yards. So Glenn's trying to change things, but I think it's so much harder now when you don't see results right away, when they easily could have some results. They could be 2-2 right now. It's not outrageous to think the Jets should be 2-2 right now. Problem is they're not. Just like last year. They should have been a lot better than 5 wins. But all many in the fan base want to do was, Rodgers only won 5 games. Yeah, because they had the worst coached operation in the league. Their kicker, who couldn't miss in 2023, was the most accurate field goal kicker in the league, was the worst in football last year till they cut him finally. Or put him on IR. Right? Like you got to win, man. You got to win to validate anything you're doing. Tom, he's validating himself. He joins the raffle for 1.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Tom, thank you. All right, home stretch here. Then we'll raffle away this Garrett jersey. Jordan is next on the program. Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Jake?
What's up, man?
How many fucking times are we going to hear the same damn thing? With Aaron Glenn promising whatever the hell, a turnaround. Bro, how many times are we going to hear it? It's been 15 years since they've had a winning season. How many times are we going to hear people go up to the stadium, the podium, and talk and talk and talk? We want to see results as Jets fans. We want to see the results. We want to see the turnaround. I'm tired of people talking all this good shit and then never see the results on a Sunday. They constantly lose games because they constantly kick themselves in the ass and get all these penalties. Nobody can make a fucking play on defense. Sauce Gardner's getting paid, and you're getting cooked by a guy who hasn't played in 2 years. Come on, man. Like, we got to be better than that. We got to be better than that. The standard is the standard, they say, right? Well, what's the standard? The standard is fucking losing. I'm tired of watching these games. Poor Garrett Wilson is the best player on the team other than Quinnen Williams, and we can't get him the ball because they don't trust Justin to throw the ball. How many more seasons are we going to get of losing and mediocrity and the Jets fans knowing these guys can't play, but these coaches think they could just come in and change shit around and keep Michael Clemens and all these other guys that shouldn't even be on the team? How many seasons is it going to take? How are we going to go another 10 years without winning?
It feels like it. I mean, look, you would think it's got to change at some point, but I mean, forget the playoff drought. It's 10 years without a winning season. It's insane.
And it's just ridiculous. And then he just gets up there and like, I like Aaron Glenn, but I just don't like his attitude towards the press when they ask him questions. Like, yeah, you were a part of this team and you know what it's like to lose, but at the same time, like, you weren't here for those 15 years or whatever the case is when it's just been terrible. Nobody wants to come here because there is no turnaround. So it's just, I'm sorry for ranting, but it's just getting tiring of hearing the same thing over and over every other week.
It's got to change, man. Glenn could talk about breakthroughs coming or we're close. They were close with Salah and Ulbrich last year too.
Exactly.
It's enough.
When are we going to see the results? Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it.
Right.
What are you actually going to do different that the other coaches didn't do? When are you actually going to make a change and say, this guy's not playing good? Tony Adams sucks. He can't tackle to save his life. My 12-year-old son could tackle better than Tony Adams. You know, Sauce Gardner gets paid all this money, and you can't even turn around and make a pass breakup? What happened to that, Sauce? We're not even asking for interception. Can you get a pass breakup? Can you get your hand on the ball and get a pass breakup? You can't even do that. The week before that, you're getting cooked by Emeka Ibuka, a rookie. You should be putting him on clamps. I get he's a good receiver, but Sauce, come on, dude. We got to hold these guys accountable and to a higher standard.
Look, Sauce is pretty far down still on the list of issues, but he's got to make more plays, man. He had a chance to make a play, 4th and goal, right? They're going for it on 4th and 5 from the goal line last week on that 15-play drive that I was just referencing after the Allen fumble. That's where you need your best defensive player, your supposed best defensive player, your highest paid player. Go and make a play. Like, go make a play in that spot.
Exactly. And even on the first touchdown that Darren Waller caught, push him out of bounds if you can't get the ball. Push him out of bounds.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, bro, it's honestly, it gets so frustrating. And then it's just like Coach Glenn gets up there and has this attitude because, oh, we're the same old Jets. Well, dude, what have you shown different? It doesn't matter that we're losing close games. You lost. We haven't won a game. You lost. So it's honestly, and then we just continue to put hope and find a way to be excited and go and watch the games. And we're wasting our time on Sunday watching this team kick 13 penalties. 13 penalties. It's the same shit that happened last year. Justin Fields is trying to run around. Bro, just go down. You're not Lamar Jackson. I understand you can run. But, bro, you cost a huge fumble in a crucial part of the game. Then we go into halftime, and we come out right at half, and we fumble the ball again. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
The pain doesn't stop, Jordan. I would tell you that one day it will, but I have no way of knowing that.
None of us do. I wish we had a crystal ball to say next year would be different. But, you know, like everybody's saying, do you really trust this coaching staff right now to draft another year and put guys in the best position? Because it's not looking that promising right now. It's not. It's like we want Aaron Glenn to work because he was a former Jet, But dude, we need to see some results. We need to see some actual change and improvement over the course of the season. And it doesn't look like there's been any improvement at all. At all.
See, I'm going to push back on a good call, Jordan. I'm going to push back on a comment from a guy I really like who calls the show all the time, Brian Glick. He says the all-in for Aaron Rodgers meant 2025 and likely 2026 would be significantly impacted with lack of resources. What did you think this would look like? That's bullshit, Brian. Stop excusing this. They had resources. They still have a lot of cap space. Resources. They re-signed Jamie and Sherwood, did they not? They extended Sauce and Garrett, did they not? They paid Brandon Stevens, did they not? They chose to keep Clemens here and Xavier Gibson here, did they not? They chose to keep Tony Adams here. They had resources to replace these guys. They chose to keep them because they thought they were better options or they could coach them up better. They haven't. Sherwood's regressed. Michael Carter regressed. Sauce regressed. Quincy regressed. These guys were all coached better under Saleh. They were. This is not saying Saleh's a good head coach. He wasn't. And Ulbrich was horrible. But you write in, what did you think this would look like? You tell me, Brian, you thought this defense was going to be historically inept through the first 4 games? You didn't. That's BS if you're going to say you did. You did not. You knew the Jets hired a defensive coach who got the job in the first place because he had tremendous success in Detroit with that defense. You saw a team that hired a defensive coordinator in Steve Wilkes who's had success in the league before, been a head coach twice. You thought it would look like this? Let me throw it back at you. You thought it'd be this bad? The Jets are the only team in the league that's allowed 25-plus points in every game this year. Aaron Glenn loses the game. He's the first Jets coach to ever start 0-5. You thought it would look like this? When I say first game to coach to start 0-5, first coach in their first year with the Jets to start 0-5. I mean, come on. By the way, the Jets are trying to avoid their third 0-5 start over the last 40 years. As bad as the Jets have been, they're not usually this bad. The only other times in the last 40 years the Jets were 0-5, you know who their head coaches were? Kotite and Gase. So don't tell me what did you think it would look like. I didn't think it'd be this bad. I thought they wouldn't beat themselves with 13 penalties against a dog shit team on Monday night, respectfully. You thought they were going to lose that game? You thought they were going to fumble 3 times? Come on. I give Brian credit. He called in so we could actually have this debate on air. Coach, thanks for calling in.
What's up, bud? Yeah, I'm upset. I get the rants. I get the agitation. I get it's not just 4 games, that it's a lifetime, it's a decade, it's whatever you all measure the suffering on. I'm there too. You know, I'm not shocked though. I mean, when I did a win-loss prediction, I thought maybe they'd win 2 games until the bye. And I thought that realistically, it would take a long time for this offense to get cooking until they figured out which of their players, whether the broken bets or the young guys or the bargain dumpster purchases because of being cap strapped, would turn it around. I think the second half of the year will be better. I'm optimistic there. Would I bet on it right now? No, but I do every year before the season starts. So sure, I took the over 5.5. I am disappointed. And what I'm saying is that with all the dead cap this year and now pushed into next year with the trading away of...
Why'd they split Rodgers' cap decision then, to your point?
Well, splitting the cap decision gives them the flexibility.
Right,
they could have rolled that extra over to next year. And I'm still hoping they did.
They did.
Right. I mean, they have like a $13 million this year.
But they could have had. You
4.
said they didn't have resources. If they would have had even less resources if they chose to do that with Rodgers' contract. The fact they split it means they were trying to have more flexibility to improve this year's team. Also, let's not have revisionist history. This was the head coach at the combine when he was asked questions about, so are you guys rebuilding?
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
I mean, they didn't start Tyrod Taylor and draft a rookie. They could have done that if they wanted to do a quote-unquote tank year, start Tyrod, have a developmental quarterback, save money there. They give Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed, a $40 million contract.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, my answer is the coach and the public is saying going to say all the right things, all the coach speak stuff. We're not tanking. We're not a rebuild. I believe in the players we have. We're going to coach up the young guys. This is all the stuff that they say. I don't blame them. That's what he should say. He's not going to say half of this team stinks and I can't wait to get rid of you in the year or two when I have the resources to do that. That's no way to test to see if the current locker room can pull it together and make something happen. He's got to get some resources around Justin Fields and some other players to put a product on the field to get this thing turned, the big ship, whatever he wants to say, by the end of the year. We need to see coaching development here too. We need to see them coach up players. We haven't really seen that in a while. Look, I was a Joe Douglas supporter. I like Robert Saleh as a human. So I'm not saying
Robert
that
Saleh.
I did meet him. Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't tank the team or they're all responsible. They had high-end, amazing draft talent that they coached up and played great. So this team is top heavy. It has a lot of missing middle, and there is nothing at the back end. And that means lack of depth. And you can't replace lack of depth in one off season with what they had. And I'm realistic there. Like, do I want them to? Yes, I want everyone to take discounts and come here and play with us. That's my goal. But until the spark happens, until that win happens, until the winning streak happens, until the ball magically bounces back to us on a fumble or a turnover, is this mistake-ridden game something fun to watch? No, and it's probably why everyone's so upset. But I really didn't think we were winning the Super Bowl, which is 15 minutes away from me here in Santa Clara. So,
but no one did, Brian. We thought this team would not beat themselves, be well coached. Do you think they've been a well coached team 4 games in?
I don't. It's hard to say coaching or not because the coaches didn't fumble a single ball. I watched the games twice. I didn't see a coach drop a ball or fumble a ball. I saw the players do that.
Yeah,
Players
but these things happening are you don't think these things continuing to happen are signs of a poorly coached football team?
I mean, I think that we're so damaged that we're going to say that is a reasonable impact and that is possible. But I honestly believe in my heart that I'm not a former football player, that the players have to hold themselves accountable for those plays.
They do. But I think the coaches have to put them in spots where they have a chance to succeed. And the coaching staff has to provide a game plan that the players are inspired by, believe in, are focused and ready to roll. And this team has scored 3 points deep into the third quarter of their last 2 games, essentially playing for their season because they don't have a win yet. Like,
and they're under the microscope of the New York media and this ravenous fan base that.
So why hire a first-time head coach who's learning on the job?
I know. I like this dude. I like his energy. I
like Glenn too. I really do. I every time I hear Glenn speak, I'm like, man, I really want this guy to be the guy. But I can't blindly just say, I hope it works. And I think because he played for the Jets and was around good coaches, that means he's a good coach. Robert Saleh was around great coaches in his career, won a Super Bowl in Seattle as an assistant, was around Shanahan. He wasn't a good head coach, right? Like Adam Gase had Peyton Manning vouching for him. He was a horrible head coach. Like, and you know what? Todd Bowles wasn't good with the Jets. Turns out maybe he's a solid coach at this point. But like, once again, Woody Johnson's paying guys to learn on his dime before they go somewhere else and then have success again. It's a huge risk. They haven't hit on the coordinator, first-time coach hire in 15 years with Rex. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, Jake, I love the conversation and the healthy debate with you. I applaud your passion. I think we a lot of us here in this community share that. But I want to make it really clear. I'm not delusional. I don't. Some of the things like you're saying, I completely agree. Like they're until they turn the corner, they haven't turned the corner, and we can question all these things, and it is healthy to question that. And I am absolutely not turning the blind eye or completely looking through green colored glasses. I'm saying that we had 12 starters come back and the depth is awful. And, you know, I love Clemens, but he's just not a starter. He's a rotational dude. He's playing starting level snaps. And we've got McDonald, who's a fantastic edge rusher, they're pulling him off on run downs. And the adjustments that they're trying to make and the coaches, I am giving them some grace to say, hey, you all have these players. You got to make it work. You can't scrap pile them, bring in players that are subpar. You may bring in younger players that may take a step back in either former snap counts or experience, and they may get beat. And they may get beat on athleticism. They may get beat because they make a mental error. But to us, it's still being beat. So for us, it hurts. Am I saying right now, take out all those guys and put all the young people in? I would like to see them get a higher percentage of snap count. I like to see what they do and develop. I think that's the key for this year. Is Malachi Moore? Can we bring Pritchett up? Is he still alive? I was even saying Brandon Smith, bring him up. Let's see what he looks like out there. I know he's not 22, but let's see Skinner. Let's see some of the guys that we've got, and let's see what happens. And when I say that, I mean, I'm willing to see a step back in production, and that's going to hurt. So I accept that with my green glasses on. Is this rest of the year is
there's got to be improvement though, Brian. Like, you could defend Glenn, say he needs more time, and that's all fair. Like the points you make are valid. I think needs to be more criticism for some of the moves that he's directly responsible for. Plus, you can't preach accountability and have Isaiah Williams still in this game the other night and now not cut him this week, or he's potentially returning kicks again Sunday. Like that can't happen. But it has been 4 games, so I'm hoping he turns it around. But I mean, it's getting worse. When you lose to the Dolphins in that fashion, you can't use we played the Bills or Baker Mayfield or the Steelers with Tomlin. Like, no, you lost to an awful football team that's probably cleaning house at the end of the year. Dolphins are probably winning 5 or 6 games this year, and you handed them a win that they didn't deserve, and that's very concerning to me.
My predict is week 14 when the Jets beat the Dolphins is when they fire the head coach. I'm looking at my prediction sheet. I have the Dolphins predictions too because my coworker's a Finns fan, so I always tell him when they're going to fire the coach. And it's usually after a Jets game. I'm right there with you. We need to see improvement. We need to see the accountability. Did I think it was going to be this bad on penalties? No. I didn't think it was going to be this bad on mental errors. I'm disappointed there. I thought with his bravado speak as the coach saying that these are the things he's going to focus on and it will change, I thought we'd see improvement. We haven't yet. But I feel like, I don't know, I don't say it, but they say like, you got to get your first pick to get your next, right? So, okay, let's celebrate the first turnover, but I'm still waiting. I can't believe it's been this long. But this is last year's talent for the most part. Like, thank goodness we have an O-line. We have tackles. Thank goodness we have depth at running back. We needed that. Tell me where else we do. I don't see it anywhere else. I thought those 2 positions, and we lost a starting potential all-pro right guard before the season. Like, I'm not making excuses. The guy's got to play, but I think we've hung in there, I guess. I'm not saying moral victory, but there seems to be something worth cheering for.
I know what you're saying, Brian. You're not saying moral victory. You're saying no wins. Be nice to win one of these games, man, especially the amount of games you go to, Brian. Shout out to you. Good debate, good back and forth. Appreciate your time. Do one last call here, and then we'll do the raffle. So if you want a chance to win a Garrett jersey, throwback jersey, last opportunity to enter. Gift a membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. Burkinator's on the line. Yesterday, he tied a Jake Asman show record with the most points ever delivered in a single phone call, and he's back for more. What's up, Burkinator? Uh-oh. No. He's in the boonies in Georgia. We couldn't hear you, Burke. Sorry about that, man. Try this afternoon with Dylan if you're able to make it happen, or whenever you're able to get the better Wi-Fi. Hey, before the raffle, let me talk about 1v1me. It's an app that is changing the way you watch video games. That's right, 1v1me. Download it today. 1v1me brings sports energy to video games. Every day you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty. Search and destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs. Payouts are instant. These aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene. Pros, streamers, and rivals with season playoffs and championship games on the line. Every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. So if you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, got to use 1v1me. That's where you need to be. It's not just about winning. It's about bragging rights, too. Every match has the chat going crazy, and you can back your pick in real time. Download today. Use my code ASMAN, and your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code ASMAN for a risk-free first stake. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for this.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go, folks. The Wheel of Champions. Someone's going to win. Many will lose. But everyone who doesn't win, and everyone who does win, the one person, you are still entered in our weekly series for entering a daily raffle. Namath helmet, Corbett football, Sauce, signed jersey. All right. Time to spin the Wheel of Champions. Good luck to everyone. Thank you for supporting the show. Wouldn't be able to do this without you. Especially now that the Jets are winless and the diehards are still here supporting. Love all of you. But only one can win today. We find out who that winner is right now. B. Ramos. B. Ramos wins the raffle. He gifted 5 memberships earlier. He is your winner in our Garrett Wilson throwback jersey raffle. Ramos, congrats. Hit the Jet Champ for him. Hopefully Garrett has a big game against Dallas on Sunday wearing the black uniforms that Garrett caught the catch against the Texans in. All right. A big thank you to everyone who watched this morning. Thank you to Matt O'Leary for joining us. We'll be back 4 p.m. sharp. DT, Dylan Terraman, is our guest in his weekly spot. Let's go Yankees tonight. Beat Boston. I will talk to you guys this afternoon. And before we get out of here, who's this Bad Bunny guy?
What is this? Who is this guy? Bad freaking Bunny. What is that?
We literally can't even fall on a fumble. I mean, my wife accidentally falls on my dick 1 time a week, and we can't fall on a fumble?
Holy shit already. Will you stop it with the bad language?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.